12th day of the Omer is Hoid Shebigvura. Hoid is acceptance and submission. Gevura is fear. And so when you bring a passive acceptance and submission to fear, you end up with sadness. What is sadness exactly? It is a component of two things. One is something is not to your liking, something is bothering you, something is upset you, something is not the way it should be, but two, you can't do anything about it. And when you feel you can't do anything about something that is not to the way you want it to be, you respond with sadness. And so sadness has its place, but of course we have to be careful not to let sadness overtake us and turn into melancholy depression. So there was once this lady who, a family, and very tragically one of their children passed away in a car crash. And you can imagine the devastation. And the mother sat Shiva, and then she went up to her room and she closeted herself in her room without anybody allowing to come and see her for a while. And then after that period of time that she was by herself in her room grieving, she then came back downstairs and got on with her life. She had processed the pain and the sadness and the grief, and now she was able to move on and get back to her life. And so the challenge with sadness is that sometimes we think to ourselves, oh, don't be sad, just push it away, don't grieve about that loss or that real big tragedy. But if we don't find a way to process it, then it can come back to haunt us and stop us from actually moving on. So when it comes to sadness, we have to be careful to ask ourselves, is this truly something that I cannot do anything about? I'm feeling upset, I'm feeling sad about a situation. So the first question I have to ask myself, is it something that I truly cannot do anything about? Because if I can do something about it, then sadness is not the appropriate emotional response. I have to think about motivating myself to do something about it. But if it's truly something that I cannot do anything about, and it's truly something big that's worth getting sad over, then yes, we should embrace the sadness, sit Shiva on it, metaphorically speaking, and deal with it. Talk it over with a friend or do it in private, whichever one works better for you. And then we will be able to move on and make room for happier times.